All right, listen, your attachment issues are the reason why you're not finding love. I'm not saying this to upset you because there's ways to fix it. I'm also not saying that the second that you heal, you're going to attract the best person, because everything is in divine timing. Like, it's going to happen when it's going to happen. But I do think the more you stay stuck in the same attachment patterns that you've been put in, the less likely you are to actually find the right one for you, like the good, wholesome, wholehearted love that your soul actually desires. So let's get into it this episode. Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I'm your host, Respectfully Gabby. And in this podcast, we talk all things dating and relationships in this modern day. And if you are new here, hi, I'm Gabby. I'm an online dating and confidence coach where I help you transform your anxious attachment or fearful avoidant attachment style to a more secure attachment style. So I do have an 8-week program. If you're wondering what we focus on, it's literally everything that you would be experiencing as an anxious attachment. We walk through everything and growing your confidence, do mindset shifts throughout this process, and getting to know what healthy, real love is. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit in this episode as well. So stay tuned for this. So my book is coming out, by the way, in 3 weeks. So stay tuned for that. It's coming out July 7th. And if you are curious about what's inside the book, let me just break this down. I'm actually so excited for this book to come out. It's really meant to be for the anxious attachment girly, or if you have a fearful avoidant, but you kind of like lean more towards the anxious side, this book is for you. It is literally everything that we go through in coaching, literally every TikTok video that I've ever made, along with story times of each chapter. I break down a guy that I dated that has changed my thinking, that has prompted a lot of learning lessons. If you are curious about the book, hit the link in my bio. There is a link to pre-order the ebook. The physical copy is actually coming out on the day. Let's get into the episode. I recently went out with someone and we were having some deep conversations, which is a rare find in Dubai. When someone just relates to you on like a spiritual level, they just understand your thoughts and you just both get it. It was nice, but we were talking about how he was saying how most people don't want to be honest with themselves. And I could not agree more. And I think we all fall victim to this at one point or another, some more than others, whatever. It is what it is. If everyone was so freaking for real with themselves, you would stop getting your feelings hurt. You would stop putting yourself in situations, in situationships, in relations where you know at the end of it you're going to get hurt. Because if you were radically honest with yourself, the reality is you'd probably find exactly what you're looking for. But I think it's really hard to be so real with yourself that you understand the depths of why you're doing something and why you're attracted to certain people and things. If you were just real with yourself, everything would be so much easier. If you're chasing people that you know at the end of the day are not meant for the long haul, and you're saying, well, no, I can't let go of them, they make me so happy, you're not being real with yourself. Because if you're being so honest, you would be like, actually, yeah, I know that my life is going to be better off without them. They're causing me nothing but stress and anxiety. Do I really want that in my life? Do I want to feel this anxious energy all the time? You don't want to feel that anxiety walking on eggshells at all times. Once you really set yourself free and escape that person who's making you feel anxious, you're like, wow, I feel like I can actually breathe again. Yes, I'm sure there's going to be times where you actually miss this person and you're like, well, you know, it sucks because I did feel like they were like the one, but be real with yourself. Like, at the end of the day, is that how you want to feel with the one? Do you want to feel like you're on edge all the time? Do you want to feel like you can't breathe? Like you have to curate your mood, your energy, the way that you talk. You have to curate every single action of yours to not set this person off or not push them away or not get them to ghost you? Or why are we doing all of this? And if you were real about it, this person's not making you happy. They're making you overthink all the time and question your own life, your own being. Like, why are you allowing yourself to think to even think for a second that this could be the one. It's a little bit of tough love there, but my past self too, I would meet a guy and the chemistry would be off the chains and I'd be like, wow, like he's nothing like anyone else. Like this is it. I know. When you know, you know. And then you convince yourself that this person is the one, when in actuality, what's really happening is that that person activated your nervous system, and that spark that you're feeling, that chemistry that you're feeling is making you so drawn to this person that you can't see anything else. It's them or nothing. This person that you don't even know, that you just met, has to live up to the standard of being your husband when you know nothing about them. Most of the time when you feel that crazy draw to someone, it's because your attachment style is being activated. That safe love that is so unfamiliar, that you've never really experienced before, is a turnoff to you because you're like, it's not exciting. The spark isn't there. The chemistry is not there. It must not be the one. When you struggle with anxious attachment or fearful avoidant attachment, but leaning more towards the anxious side, you're going to attract partners who give you that spark, and it's going to be so magnetizing that nothing else in the world matters besides this person. But the reality is, connection without emotional safety is attachment. You're just attached to this person. They've not yet made you feel safe. You don't know them well enough to allow the space for them to make you feel safe. You've just met and you're like, oh my God, no, this has to be it. I can count on so many hands. I need multiple hands here. If I'm being so honest, the amount of times I said, oh my God, no, I met my husband. He's perfect. He's everything that I want. I don't even know him. I literally just met him. And I'm thinking to myself that I must have met the one because of the connection. Let me just say, the connection that I felt to every single one of these men was my anxious attachment style being triggered, and me latching on to these people that felt safe, but the only reason they felt safe was because emotionally I was drawn to them. Come to find out, after a week or two, when real feelings are invested in the relationship, then it's scary. It will scare off the avoidant people who are not ready to be vulnerable. Instead of getting closer and closer and closer, it starts off as this really high, intense feeling, but it always comes crashing down because they're not really ready to experience the type of love that both of you want, but they're not ready to put their heart on the line. So what do instead? They'll ghost you, start becoming dry. They'll put themselves back out there. They'll start dating around. You stop hearing from them as much. And it's confusing because in your head, you think that you're getting so close to this person, but it's so scary for the avoidant person. They end up running and you're like, okay, well, I know for sure we shared something that was like definitely a connection. I'm not delusional. And you get in your head about it and you start over analyzing every single motion and movement. But if you look at what's happening objectively, to every anxious girl out there, I need you to be so turned off by a man's bad behavior. If he's running away, if he's scared, if he's ghosting you, why are you not so disgusted by this man's behavior? The second that he leaves you confused should be enough of a turnoff for you to change your mind about this person. Yes, maybe you put your heart on the line very early on, and maybe there was this soul connection that was unlike anything that you've ever felt before. That was your attachment style speaking. It wasn't based in an actual relationship foundation, because the reality is you don't know this person. You don't know anything about them. You've just met them. And yes, you have this strong connection. I get it. I've been there. Trust me, more than once. I write about it in my book. But again, the connection means nothing if that person's not ready to be vulnerable, to open up emotionally, to continue to grow. It takes both parties to grow a relationship. And if it scares the shit out of someone, but the other person wants it so bad, you're attached to them. They're not allowing that foundation for emotional safety. And attachment can feel like the most amazing spark in the world. That's always how it starts off, by the way. Or it will start off like with you not really liking the person, and then suddenly you're so attached that it's like, wait, where did this person go? Why I was the one who didn't really care that much. It's one or the other. It always starts off that way. I think when you're building a healthy connection, a healthy foundation, you don't allow your emotions to take over. You don't allow your emotions to lead the show, because the second that you allow your emotions to creep in and start leading your every decision, every relationship, what actually ends up happening is that you stay with people just because you feel connected to them. The only reason you feel connected to them is because your attachment style is being triggered and it feels familiar. And since this has been something that you've learned from childhood all the way up to your adult self, the patterns that you are stuck in are so hard to break unless you are conscious of it, unless you are aware that you keep falling for the same person, and every single time it leads you to a dead end. The second that you become aware of it is where the healing really begins, because you know now what to look out for. You're not allowing your emotions to lead the show, because unfortunately, feelings and reality are not the same thing. And I think the reason why we get attached so quickly to people that deep down probably are not right for you, but it feels really intoxicating and really good, is because we crave some sort of control from them. Attachment is really just trying to control this person to be who you want them to be, to fit into your mold, to show up for you the way that you want someone to show up for you. But if it's not authentic for that person to show up for you naturally the way that you would want them to show up for you, it's never going to work out. You're trying to control their every piece. With anxious attachment styles, you crave control more than anything else. So how you're reacting to certain situations, how you respond, and how you emotionally drawn you are, all comes from a place of trying to control the pieces. You want to know how this is going to end. You want to know that this person will act the way that you want them to act. You want to know that you are in control. If you know how to spot the type of person that you keep falling into very early on, you'll stop allowing yourself to get attached so quickly. It's the noticing. Actually, I've felt this before. We've been here before. I know how this is going to end. He's probably emotionally unavailable. And maybe not every guy that you attract is emotionally unavailable. But when you're feeling that really intense excitement in the beginning, typically he's avoidantly attached or emotionally unavailable. You feel so comfortable in the beginning because it's the familiarity of every single guy that you've spoke to that you felt the same way before. And the second that they trigger your core wounds of not being enough or of the fear of abandonment, you react in ways that naturally an anxious attacher would, which is overreacting, over emotionally responding. The only way that you can get to a secure attachment is to, first and foremost, heal the core wounds, which we go through in coaching. So if you're curious, book a call with me. But healing those core wounds first, and then reacting differently, responding differently. Naturally, it will come along the more that you heal those core wounds, but responding in a secure way. How does a secure person respond to this? They're not going to take it personally when someone needs a little bit of space. They're going to be like, okay, it's natural, it's normal. You can't hang out with someone 24/7 without getting sick of them or without needing a little bit of break to themselves. It's okay that they need their space. It's okay that this person hasn't texted you back in a few hours. Give them some time, come back to themselves. A secure person will know that if it is meant to be, it will come back. You don't have to force it. You don't have to send a massive paragraph that's going to turn them away and you end up self-sabotaging the relationship. It's responding differently when your anxiety is being triggered. But not only that, is realizing that, do you really want to be with a person who triggers your anxiety at all times? Probably not. And I think looping it back around is the moment that you're honest with yourself about what you actually want. Because I think even in the past, when I was dating prior to even maybe a little bit in the beginning of Dubai, if I was being so honest with myself, I don't actually think I really wanted a relationship. I felt the pressures of everyone else, oh, you're getting older, or you have a ticking time bomb clock, whatever. You need to settle down, it's time, blah, blah, blah. Yes, now I do want that, and I do feel like I'm ready for that. But I think sometimes we think we're ready for it without actually being ready for it. And we keep falling into the same emotionally unavailable people. But if you're just honest with yourself, like, I don't want a relationship, and that's okay, the less you're going to actually end up hurting your feelings, because you could just, and maybe this isn't for everyone, you could just put yourself out there, have connections, maybe you have someone that you mess around with, whatever. But if I was so honest with myself about not really wanting a relationship, but I'm going after people who are emotionally unavailable on purpose because I know it's not going to end up in a relationship and then I can be hurt at the end of that. If I was actually honest with myself, I would just take it for what it is. Like, I'm just building a connection with someone. I know it's not going anywhere. I'm not going to hurt my feelings over it. I'm not searching for their validation of them wanting to be in a relationship with me. I just don't want a relationship, and that's okay. And I think the more you're honest with yourself, the less that you will actually be hurt. Another part on the healing and moving more towards a secure attachment style, the more secure you become, the less BS that you are willing to tolerate. You can be secure and still not want a relationship, not feel ready for a relationship. It's okay. But I think a secure person will be honest with themselves about that. Whereas if you struggle with an insecure attachment style, you're going to just keep getting into situationships and then be frustrated at the end of it, like, oh my God, I can never find my person. No, you're just leading with your emotions. You're not leading with what makes sense. The second that you allow your emotions to lead the show, instead of logically thinking, does this person even align with where I am trying to get to? A secure person will stop and ask themselves, do I even like this person? Do I like what they're about? Am I actually interested in what they have to say? Do they motivate me? Do they inspire me? Do they make me want to be a better person? How do I feel in this person's energy? Do their values align with my values? A secure person is going to ask these questions because they're not just letting their emotions take over, like, oh, we have a connection, so it must mean that this is my person. No, connection means nothing if your paths don't align. But the more that you're able to see things for what they are instead of what you want them to be, the better off you're going to be when it comes to dating. And the more you're actually going to find your person, not the person who you have an intense connection with that ends up ending in a week and you're devastated over it. And the more that you move towards a secure attachment style, being able to self-soothe yourself in moments where you feel so triggered by someone, the more that you're able to self-soothe and calm your nervous system back down to a regulated state, it doesn't just happen one time. It's something that you have to practice at. But the more that you're able to calm your nervous system, the better off you're going to be in this is truly, truly the biggest thing that you can learn in life is how to regulate your nervous system, because in any area, you can't control what's going on in the outside world at all, but you can control what's going on internally. And the more that you're able to do that for yourself and you can validate yourself and acknowledge that you're having and experiencing a feeling, I'm telling you, this is the tool, the key to life. And I'm actually giving this away for free. I talk about it in my book, but I am offering a free chapter of my book that you can get from the link in my bio. If you want to just type in your name, email address, I will send you the free chapter where I talk about the F-boy that I dealt with and how to self-soothe, the 4 steps on how to self-soothe and regulate your nervous system. This is such vital information. Trust me when I say this is essential. That is it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you got some kind of value out of this. And if you did, please leave that 5-star rating. Please leave a thumbs up, turn on your bell notifications, subscribe. Also follow me on Instagram, TikTok at Respectfully Gabby. I am obviously dropping my book soon, and I really, really, truly, my intention is that it falls into the hands of every anxious attachment girly who needs and wants to heal. So that you don't miss it, hit the follow. I'm going to be releasing all of the information on that. So again, thanks so much, and I will see you all next Tuesday.